So we got a super cool request for a deep dive, and honestly, I'm kind of pumped for this one.
Yeah, this one's right up my alley, too.
Someone out there wants to know, like, how to really take their DIY game to the next level.
Okay, yeah.
They're thinking dedicated workshop, right? And what better place than a backyard shed?
A classic.
I mean, come on, who hasn't dreamed of having their own little haven to build and create?
Oh, for sure. It's like such a universal thing.
Yeah. And we dug into some resources on this, and it's amazing. Like, it's more than just wanting the space, right? There are actual, like, psychological benefits to having this designated creative zone.
Totally. The sources we looked at talk about this idea of having a space that's truly yours.
Exactly. And there's so many practical advantages, too. Like, obviously, you get that dedicated space, but also better organization. You know, the whole creative vibe is different.
Yeah.
And they even talk about how you can make it usable year-round, which I think is awesome.
Oh, for sure.
And D, this is surprising, they make a really good argument for how it can actually be cost-effective.
Interesting.
So, let's get into it, shall we? Buckle up, because this is going to be an inspiring A&D practical deep dive into the wonderful world of backyard shed workshops.
Okay, so one of the sources really starts by, like, painting this relatable picture. You know, tools everywhere, projects taking over the house.
Oh, tell me about it.
You can never find what you need.
Right.
And you're constantly, like, tripping over stuff.
It's struggle.
It is. And that's where they bring in the shed, right? As a solution to all that chaos.
It's true. It's like you instantly solve, like, so many problems just by having that separate space. It's almost like a mental shift, too, you know?
Right.
Like, okay, I'm entering my creative zone. No more distractions. No more kids asking for snacks.
Yeah.
It's just you and your project.
The sources even mention some studies about this. Like, having a dedicated creative space can actually boost your focus and productivity.
That makes sense. It's like you're telling your brain, okay, it's time to get into work mode.
Exactly. Okay, so I want to try something.
Sure.
Close your eyes for a second and just, like, picture this.
All right, I'm closing them.
You walk into your shed, you close the door behind you, and there it is.
Oh.
A solid workbench. Maybe it runs along the whole back wall and it's got built-in storage underneath.
Nice.
Above it, you've got pegboards. You know, those boards with all the holes in them?
Yeah.
They're perfect for hanging up your tools so everything's within easy reach.
I like it. Keep going.
And then you've got custom shelves, perfectly sized for all your supplies. And in the corner, you've got a dedicated lumber storage area.
Okay, hold on. Pause for a sec. Is there cool lighting on this lumber storage?
Oh, absolutely. They actually talk about lighting a lot in the sources. You could do, like, some LED strip lights to highlight the different types of wood you have.
I'm seeing it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, you can keep going.
All right, so, wait, actually, back to that lighting thing. Yeah.
The sources make a good point about the importance of good lighting in general, like for the whole workshop.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They suggest layering it. So you'd have bright LED panels overhead for, like, general illumination, and then maybe a gooseneck lamp that you can move around for more focused light when you're working on intricate detail.
Okay, see that?
Right. And maybe even some accent lighting to show off your finished projects.
See, this is what I love about this deep dive. It's the little details that make all the difference.
Totally. And speaking of details, there's another thing they mention a lot, and that's ventilation.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Ventilation. So important.
Especially if you're working with paints, stains, or finishes.
Yeah, you don't want to be breathing in those fumes all day.
Right. It's about protecting your health, but also making sure those fumes don't damage your tools or projects.
I've definitely learned that the hard way.
Yeah. Ventilation. It's key.
Okay, so we've talked about the space, the organization, the lighting, the ventilation. It's all coming together, right? Yeah. It's like more than just a workshop. It's an environment, you know?
Exactly. And the sources really capture that feeling of, like, liberation you get from having a dedicated creative space. The peace and quiet, the freedom to make noise without disturbing anyone.
Yeah, and the ability to customize it completely to fit your needs.
Yes, you can make it your own little haven.
They even talk about incorporating natural light.
Oh, that's a good point.
Like, imagine having windows that let in tons of natural light. Not only does it help you see better, but it also just makes the space feel more zen.
I love that. It's like bringing the outdoors in.
Exactly.
Okay, but let's get real for a second. What about when it's freezing cold outside? Or scorching hot? We're talking year-round usability here, people.
That's where things like an insulation and climate control come in.
Ah, yes, the practical stuff.
They talk about the importance of insulating your shed properly to keep it comfortable in all seasons.
So we're thinking insulation, maybe a small heater for the winter, a portable AC unit for the summer.
Exactly. It might seem like an extra cost, but honestly, it's an investment in your comfort and your ability to use the workshop all year round.
Which brings us to a bigger point, and that's the whole investment versus expense thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because building a shed, or even like renovating one,
Right.
it can seem like a big chunk of change up front, right?
Right.
But the sources really lay out all the long-term benefits, and it's pretty convincing.
Totally. It's not just about protecting your tools from the elements, which is important, of course.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But a well-built, functional workshop can actually increase your property value.
Wow. I never thought of that.
Right. And then think about it, you'll be able to get so much more done because you'll be more efficient. You'll be able to tackle bigger, more complex projects.
Okay, I was sold.
Plus, you might even get your car back in the garage.
Haha. That's a bonus. All right, so let's say someone's listening to this and they're like, okay, I'm ready to build my dream workshop. Where do they even start?
Well, the sources we looked at actually provide really comprehensive shed plans. Oh, cool.
Yeah, like detailed blueprints, material lists, step-by-step instructions. They even have tips on electrical layout and ventilation, which we already talked about how important that is.
That's amazing. So they really walk you through the whole process.
Pretty much. And the cool thing is, there are options for all skill levels and budgets. So even if you've never built anything before, there are resources out there to help you.
Right, like prefabricated kits or those detailed DIY plans.
Yep, exactly.
So basically, there's no excuse not to have your dream workshop.
Pretty much.
I'm feeling inspired. What about you?
Oh, totally.
This deep dive has really shown how a backyard shed can be, like, so much more than just a place to store stuff. It's an investment in your creativity, your craft.
Yeah.
It's a place where you can truly express yourself.
It's about, like, creating a space where you feel inspired and motivated to do the things you love.
Absolutely.
So now that we've, like, talked about all the practical stuff, what kind of creative projects are you most excited to tackle in your dream workshop?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. I might have to think about that.
Me too.
But for all of you listening out there, I hope this has sparked some ideas. And remember, if you're ready to take the leap and create your own DIY haven, there are tons of resources out there to help you make it happen.
Go for it.
Until next time, keep building, keep creating, and keep dreaming big.
See ya.